Alright, so I got a good one for you today. It's a good one. We got a new article, notice, I guess, on the Japanese notice board and the Korean notice board about a compensation that players who, summon the ReZero banner will be getting. Now, for you to, be qualified for this compensation, you'd have to actually use the mileage system that use to get a guaranteed character. That's for very specific, sort of players. So if you did like a rotation or two on the banner, because you want the collab characters, you want to collect, you'll be getting some compensation for it. It's not like the biggest thing ever. Historically, I think the biggest compensation they ever give was the Shin banner, Green Shin, on JP in Korea. There was a mistake where his card was spelled wrong, and because of that, every single person who summoned the banner until his card was, corrected, got all their gems refunded. Everything. They got everything refunded because the card had a misspell. That was like the biggest thing that I've ever done compensation wise that I can recall. There have been like mistakes that happen that they give some gems, as compensation, but like banner wise, that was like the biggest thing. But that kind of like, depending on how much you actually spent on the banner. And for global players, don't summon on the banner thinking you're going to get the compensation, because they're definitely going to fix this for global. But there was an issue where some people exploited the system to get free multis. Now, when I was first reading through this, because Korea released the article as well, in Korea, their wording was really weird. I thought that it was a mistake where it screwed over some people. Specifically, 20-something people got screwed over by the banner. But actually, 20-something people found a way to get free multis on the banner by abusing network errors and some functions in the game. And now, let's go into it. After the this was a problem that you could continue to draw gacha without receiving managed reward when the gauge was reached 100. So that's what I thought, right? I thought, oh, some people, continued drawing after they got their 600. They didn't see, I guess, that they got 600. And they missed out on their guaranteed character, and that's why people are getting the rewards that they're getting. Actually, people found a way to get to 600 and make it so there's a network error that makes you continue summoning, because at 600 you have this like green button with no gems there. You can continue summoning without spending any gems. Genius. So in addition, for the time of implementing the Gacha system, the function to safely receive modules have been applied to prevent problems such as not being able to receive due to network disconnection. So I don't know exactly if these people also got the rewards and like maybe got it every time they summon. It's not very specified, but if they got a guaranteed unit every time they actually did a multi because of this error, that's even more insane, right? But I don't think that's actually what happened. So every time you perform a gacha, while selecting the reward at 600, the reward screen will be displayed so that you can receive the reward. However, there is one user case where you can make a profit by drawing a gacha without intentionally selecting a mileage reward by reconnecting the game or pressing the back button, not due to network error or other obstacles. The department was confirmed. Now, this is like, translator from the translator, so I was like, what's actually happening here? So I asked Green Costelebase, which knows Japanese, because this article is in Japanese, right? We're just using Google Translate. What happened here? And she said, yeah, there were people that were abusing the system. It's not like it was an error on people. People abused an error to get free multis. As a result of internal investigation, it was found that there were 28 players, 28 geniuses, who intentionally repeated 11 consecutive gachas 3 times or more without selecting a managed reward after receiving 600. So they don't specify how many multis people did. It says 3 times or more. So maybe some people are like, oh, I mean, not abuse is too much. They did like 3 times, 4 or 5. There might have been some people that did like 100. I don't know. It says 3 times or more. More goes to infinity. And I'm actually very curious to see, they don't actually say anything about this, but how many multis did these people get? Did they get like a full free rotation because of it? Did they just keep summoning until they had like infinite silver coins? I don't know. It is very funny to me. Also, they don't mention if these people are gonna get banned, but while selecting mileage reward is 600. So after reading this, I was like, so what actually happened here? did these people get screwed over, or was there, you know, some type of abuse? Because in the next article, so until here I was like, okay, maybe, you know, maybe Google Translate says profit, maybe it was like a mistaken order, because Google Translate's like known for like making some mistakes while translating. But actually no, it meant profit really, because the people that did this are not going to get this compensation. As a result of careful internal discussion, the compensation for players who have reached 600 during the period in order to ensure fairness to players who have successfully selected 600 and used Gacha. So if you did do, you know, summons in the banner, you reach the 600 mileage, you will be receiving 100 gems per time you did it. Now, I personally did it 5 times, so I'm going to be getting 500 gems. I'll take it. The rich get richer, I guess. I'll take the 500 free gems. I wasn't expecting any of this. I literally only summoned, you know, to get the Unisex 6 and everything like that. Wasn't expecting any kind of error. Like for a banner, like just like I mentioned, Shin, where some people, I remember in the Japanese community, said that they saw that Shin's card was, you know, misspelled, and they were like, okay, this will be refunded, and they abused that. They, you know, they did like 3,000 gems in the banner because they knew they were gonna get refunded. People just summon the banner casually because they wanted to get the characters, and they will be getting compensated for it because of a mistake that actually some other people did. So these are heroes, if anything. Now, if you play global, do not expect for this sort of thing to happen for you, because this mistake will definitely be fixed by the time this banner comes to global. This is the thing, right? JP and Korea are technically the test server, right? We end up having these mistakes that, you know, give us some very neat compensation sometimes, but it's very rare. Like, oh, you see, oh, this is a global shaft, but really it's very rare for something like this to happen. I think the last case of a good compensation like this happening wasn't even for JP, it was only for Korea, where there was a mistake in Korea where Super Awakening wasn't working, just wasn't working for a few characters, and every single player got 50 gems for free the next day. So there are mistakes like that just don't happen on global, because global sees that, oh, there was a mistake on JP, let's just not make it repeat on global. We don't want to give players compensation for that, you know. But yeah, do not, you know, get the ReZero banner on global, be like, oh, I'm gonna spend like all my gems on it because I'm gonna get some of it back. Definitely not gonna happen on global. We apologize for the inconvenience by the inability to prevent system defects in advance. In addition, regarding this problem, we have fixes that you cannot draw Gacha without selecting the mileage reward. So we don't, you know exactly how it would happen, and these 28 people, maybe there's a YouTube video on how to do it, but it's been fixed. At least they say it's been fixed. Just by now, if you get to 600, even if there was like a network error, I guess you're forced to pick the character so you can't get the free multis. So it's been fixed. So there's no point in trying anymore. But one thing that's interesting is that, you know, target all players who achieve 600 will be getting the 100 gems per 600, except the people who, you know, abused it. They don't specifically say if those people are gonna get banned. I hope they don't really. Like, it's not. I hate being like, oh, these people abuse the video game, they should be banned. It's like, it's just really just a video game. So if they get banned, I guess. But they don't really specify if they did get banned for that. So the period is interesting, from March 25th, which is when the banner comes out, to April 8th. So I don't know, if you reach 600, will you get the rewards at April 8th when the banner, you know, gets taken away, because that's when the banner gets taken away next week. Will the people who continue summoning get the rewards? I don't know. I wouldn't recommend, you know, if you're just if you're like here, right, on my, like me, on the 90, I don't recommend just going up to 600 just to check if you'd get the 100 back, you know, next week or so. But maybe you will. If you were going to continue summoning regardless, just do it. But I don't know. One interesting thing as well is that this might have been why we got a maintenance on Tuesday. So usually, JP gets maintenances on Thursday. But we got, this week, the maintenance on Tuesday. Right here. We got the maintenance on Tuesday. And that's definitely why, they wanted to fix this issue as fast as they could. So that's why we got the this is the one. We got the maintenance early for JP. Now it makes more sense. But yeah, interesting mistake. Everyone who did 600 gems in the banner will be getting 100 gems back. It's not like a full refund. A full refund would be insane. I'll be getting 3,000 gems back. I very much take the 500 gems. Any sort of compensation is nice, especially for something that wasn't really a mistake that affected anyone. It was more of a abuse thing. And the people who abused it are kind of heroes, in a way. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. Very interesting stuff.